What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and this is going to be another episode of Team Spotlight. In this episode, we're featuring a team with Hercules, which was requested. Now, when it comes to Hercules, you want to get his Blessing of Olympus to kick in, and I saw in the comments that some of you know just who to team up with him to do this, and that is Omega Sentinel. Omega Sentinel is perfect for putting all of those buffs that he needs on him. Strengthened, fortified, agile, and focused. So we're going to call this team Blessing of Olympus. And we're going to be using weapons and gadgets that also help take advantage of these buffs. First, we decided to go ahead and go with Tactician Power Armor for our agent. There you see Hercules, and he is a bruiser. And he has Likes It Rough, chance to restore stamina when hit by attacks, and Son of Zeus. So he takes increasingly less damage and deals increasingly more damage when strengthened, fortified, agile, or focused. And he gains Blessing of Olympus, which we talked about. And lastly, we have Omega Sentinel. She's flying, takes 2 actions, and she is of course capable of putting on all those buffs that we want. First, we're using the Neurotrope. And that can give you any random buffs, so it can help you get all of those buffs that he needs a lot faster, although it is random. Next we have the Ionic Sledge, which has Finest Hour, so it will deal extra damage when you have all those buffs like Agile, Focused, Fortified, Strengthened, etc. Next we have the Scroll of Angelob. We need to be able to remove buffs from the enemy, so we have that. And lastly we have Savant Spear. So we have a preemptive shield, and we cause generalized. And the preemptive shield will also help with the Ionic Sledge and Finest Hour. Omega Sentinel also has an ability which uses Finest Hour, and that is her Plasma Blast. So with these buffs, not only do we gain the advantage of the buff themselves, but all of our characters also take extra advantage of them, whether it's Finest Hour or Blessing of Olympus. The first thing we did was put Gift of Battle on Hercules, so he will protect and he will also counterattack. Next we're going to use Plasma Torch and put Strengthened on everyone. Then we can go ahead and use Plasma Blast, her hardest hitting ability, and she will get a double attack since it's a Scrapper attacking an Infiltrator. And he is gone already. Now we're going to use the Neurotrope and see what sort of buffs we get. Hercules gained Focused, which will help towards Blessing of Olympus. Our entire team now will crit their next hit, and they also will have a counterattack. We went ahead and used Ionic Sledge, and it already hits for 9,000, which is a really nice hit, and that's due to those Finest Hour buffs that we had there. We gained Tactical Maneuvers, and were able to finish the other blaster. Now it's on to the second wave. And you'll see these Finest Hour buffs pop up time and time again when using the Ionic Sledge. Hercules is also capable of doing huge counterattacks when he's hit. And he's about to hit this guy right now. He also got enraged. So there, he hit him once, Hercules counterattacked and took his entire life. Hercules has also a stun, Call Him Down, which hits the entire enemy team. And it can stun every single character on the other team. So he really is quite useful. This time it's my agent's turn first. We got the camo the proc, we're going to use Neurotrope, and we gain Strengthened. So we're able to hit whoever we want, it's going to be a guaranteed crit, and with Strengthened buff. So we take out the blaster, now we gain Tactical Maneuvers, so we get to attack again. We're going to use the Ionic Sledge, and we're going to be using that a lot, just due to all the Finest Hour buffs that we're going to have. Right now we only have 2, the shield which we started with, which comes with the Savant Spear, and then we gain Strengthened from Neurotrope. But sometimes you can have even more buffs off Neurotrope, or if Omega got to go first for instance. With Hercules we're going to go ahead and use Gift of Battle once again, and he gains Agile. The enemy is using Trap Shot, and it hits my agent, and it stuns him. But it's going to be Omega Sentinel's turn, so we'll start with the Plasma Torch, and that will gain Strengthened for everyone in the party. And then we're going to go ahead and use the Plasma Blast. It does pretty good damage, She only has 2 finest hour buffs, like my agent had. But in longer fights, especially in a PvP fight, she's able to put a lot of those buffs on herself and on her entire team. So it will really help out those finest hour moves. That also goes for characters like Wonder Man and Thundra. Now in this battle, we're fighting Magneto, the epic boss, because we continue to try to get the items that we need for the upcoming Adamantium process video. If you remember, I did promise that there will be a special Adamantium process where I use only items that you can gain in missions, and I'm also going to use low-cost heroes on the team. I need just 2 more items, and I'm having pretty bad luck getting them. But since this battle was kind of random, due to the shield that Magneto puts on, I'll go ahead and just talk a little bit about what I have planned for this week. I plan on releasing 2 Team Spotlight episodes. This is going to be the first one. Then I will release a second episode later in this week. And then I certainly want to put out that special episode of the Adamantium process, but there is a small possibility that I will have a different episode instead before that one, and that sort of depends on my luck with the drops. The only thing is I already have a really good team that's lined up for the Adamantium process, so trust me, that won't be a letdown, and I will be putting out that special episode very soon no matter what. If I don't get these 2 last drops, then it won't be a completely optimal team. So that's the only problem right now. But I'm going to keep running these missions, and with a little bit of luck, hopefully I'll get them in the next few days. For this particular epic boss, I usually either try to punch through his shield, which sometimes is really hard, or you can just spam something like mystical munition, and those items will take him down pretty fast. Otherwise, you can go ahead and just rely on the fact that sometimes he'll put the opposite buff on one of your characters, and they'll be able to damage him more. But with certain characters, like Hercules, with Captain Britain, really heavy damage characters, you can sometimes punch through his shield. You can do that much damage. And then other times, you'll do absolutely nothing to him. You'll do only just a little bit off of his shield. It's kind of weird. I understand how the battle works, but it still seems kind of random. So right after this battle, we're going to go into the PvP battles, and I will show you this team in PvP action. And we have some really strong opponents this time. First, we're going against a team with Hercules and Juggernaut. I thought it was pretty cool that I ended up going against another Hercules. And then they have Juggernaut on top of that, and I believe a Bruiser agent, so it's triple Bruisers. I don't have any blasters to take advantage of it. And you may notice that I did switch my outfit to a Bruiser costume, the last Bruiser costume from the tournament. We started off with a column down and we got a double stun. Of course, Juggernaut is immune to stun, so we didn't stun him. Next, we used the Neurotrope, and we also switched another item. We switched to the Blade of the Guardian. And the reason is because this also grants those effects to my agent, and then that will help out my finest hour. And when you gain all of those buffs on yourself, then you gain something called Blessing of Heroes, which is kind of reminiscent of the Blessing of Olympus. Since I equipped that and that's a protector weapon, that's why I switched to the Bruiser outfit. Also, Hercules doesn't need to use his Gift of Battle as much, because I'm going to be protecting a lot of the hits. With Omega, we went ahead and put regeneration on everyone. Now we're checking our agent, and you can see we have Strengthened, Focused, Agile. So, we went ahead and switched over. Since he pretty much has the buffs he needs, we decided we're going to go ahead and use mirror images. And that'll hopefully help us dodge some of the attacks, especially from Juggernaut. Now, it would have been their Hercules' turn, but he was stunned. So it's my Hercules' turn, and we're going to use the Pancreation Pummel. We're going to hit the Juggernaut, and that finishes him. Now you're going to see the Blessing of Heroes kick in. So I gained HP. It shows all of the buffs that I have. I'm going to use Ionic Sledge, so it's going to crit due to the blessing, and does a pretty big hit on their agent, finishing him off. There you see all my finest hour buffs going off. And after using this team for this episode, I went ahead and took this combination and created a slightly different team for PvP. And that will be in a future Adamantium process episode. It may be the one this week depending on the item drops. Otherwise, it's going to be that special episode. But trust me, the combination is really overpowered. So you just saw that Hercules finally got his Blessing of Olympus, and all the buffs are popping up, so his pummel's going to do really good damage on the opponent Hercules. And we're going to be finishing him off pretty soon here, as soon as we get to hit him with our agent. And I'm sure we're going to do another huge hit, since we do have our Blessing of Heroes. So here we go, it's going to be another crit with the Ionic Sledge on Hercules. And we went ahead and we removed whatever buffs he might have, just in case. But we know this is going to be it, but we're setting it up for a really big hit. So here comes the Ionic Sledge. And that hits for 32,000, and that finishes the battle. So now we're going to go on to our second and final PvP battle. It's against a really strong opponent. At the time, this was one of the highest HP agents I've ever seen. Now I did face a 40k HP agent a little later, but it was with a different team. I did win, but I didn't record the footage, unfortunately. On top of the high health, he has the Crown of Glory buff, so that means he did complete the staff as well. And he has Rescue on his team. So I knew I had my work cut out for me. But we're going to use the Column Down and see who we can stun. And the reason why Rescue can't block that is because it is catastrophic. The agent was stunned, which is pretty helpful. Now with Omega, we got to decide what we want to do. And what we did was we used the Plasma Torch. It's kind of a good thing that Rescue blocked it, because we didn't enrage their Bruiser agent, and we were still able to get strengthened on our team. Now we're going to change protocol. We're going to put another buff on our team. We thought about going with mirror images, but instead we kind of paused and we decided to go with Defense Array. So that's going to add Fortified to our team, and it's going to make Omega Sentinel a possible protector. Now we're using Neurotrope, and we're going to see which buffs we get. And we got Strengthened and Fortified on our agent, which we already had, unfortunately. So now we're going to use the scroll, and then we're going to follow that up with an attack on whoever we want is the good thing, since Rescue's no longer protecting. But we're still going to hit Rescue with an Ionic Sledge. We really want to take her out as soon as possible because she gets extra annoying with all those buffs. Her heals, her remove debuffs, just everything about Rescue is annoying. And there she actually removed the stun from their agent. But Omega protected and was able to counter with Penetrator darts. So that's going to put another debuff on them for Rescue to remove. And there goes Psylocke. She put a shield on Rescue, so that's kind of a good thing for us. Psylocke certainly could have done something more annoying than that. Now we're going to attack with Hercules. We're going to do a Rock of Ages on their agent. And there you see one of his other abilities that I really don't use too often. But if you're going to be getting hit with ranged attacks, you definitely want to use that. And that's because it reduces range damage by 40% with a debuff that it puts on the enemy. Now on Omega's turn, we're going to go ahead and change protocol. We're going to change her to a Scrapper. Now being a Scrapper is kind of dangerous because there is a Bruiser agent, and we're going to enrage him when we attack. But we really want to put Strengthened on our team. So we decided to go ahead and use Plasma Torch anyway. So we're going to hit with that, and then we'll be able to hit with the Plasma Blast, which is going to do some pretty good damage. So now let's decide who we want to Plasma Blast. And we're going to hit Psylocke, and that's because we'll get a double attack. So we're going to follow this up on her. And we want to take her down as close to death as possible. But we don't think we're going to finish her. So she's down to 5,701, and Rescue's down to only 4,000. So with this move, we're going to finish Rescue, hopefully. There she goes, she's out. And now the last two are really close. We just have to finish their agent, who's the most dangerous at this point. And then we have to finish Psylocke. The agent's able to hit Omega Sentinel and kill her. And he's got 2 enraged stacks, so that's why we were saying he's the most dangerous. We're definitely going to go after him next. And it may take both of our guys to finish him. So there you can see, it doesn't look like Hercules can take him more than halfway down from what he already is. But we did put him pretty much on death's door, and we just have to finish him with an ionic sledge. Our agent takes him out, so it's just Psylocke left. We're going to be finishing up this battle as soon as it gets back around to us. And that's going to be the end of this video. So she hit Hercules for quite a bit of damage, but luckily neither one of those characters were too injured. So we're going to finish this with Hercules and a pummel on Psylocke. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to thank you for watching. I will keep you updated on the adamantium process, and there will be another team spotlight this week. So once again, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Till next time, good luck, and take care.